Hi everyone, we're trying a different type of style of like movie channel content creation. This movie is still out in cinemas, and for anyone that's looking for a good fright, I'm giving you guys a snippet of what something to entice you to make some expectation. Is this the movie that you want to go for a good scare? So there was some Easter eggs in playing of certain films, and I'm familiar with some actors, and they kind of do put some Easter eggs reference on certain jokes on running gag, but like that doesn't interfere with your enjoyment of watching the film for what it is. Why you want to be scared? You want to be creeped out. So let's start with the tarot. What is the tarot? The tarot is a anagram for the word total, and the total, or also included in it, is the rota. So generally, it's supposed to imply the symbolism of going into one journey. And a journey, if each person involves, can come in line with these cards trying to predict the future. Certain aspects, if you just look at the trailer itself, comes to make you suggestive that they're involving majors arcana into divination, instead of putting such emphasis on other stuff like minor arcanas, which have other representation. This is kind of like the book I make a reference of if you are kind of curious about what implies tarot cards in general, right? Because they have a lot of symbolism to predicting the person's journey where they go across. Not everything is explored, but we are going to flesh out some parts that you see on a trailer already. What can bring out to some excitement is how they kind of decide to do this, right? So first, just a little snippet as well to tell you guys. Minor arcanas that's not included are generally maybe in more lines of the detail of cards are crystals, cups, worlds, and wands. Now, can they escape where their life is navigating them? That's the whole point. It's kind of giving you another feel of maybe if you've ever been in that kind of film watching Final Destination. So the idea generally comes down that they are playing with cards harmlessly, and they have been predicted that they are going to be in danger or something's going to happen to them, right? And but the future is uncertain, and being able to change the outcome overlaps that was the Eisenberg principle. Something interesting there to talk about. A way to re-see your past self-destructing and sabotage sentence. Tarot is a means of using intuition to guide your actions. That's what it stands for. Let's talk a bit now about some things that you've kind of like fleshed out from the trailer that I've seen myself. So the fool. The fool is intuitive. It leads in direction from where his feelings are guiding him. It's a childlike nature and playful and spontaneity over the course of action. Magician. The law of talent. Extract your skills to be what you want to be. It affects any lines of your perception. Priestess. Law of knowledge. Use sounds, fragility, and frigidity for escapism. The hermit. A shutout. The distractions of this a shutout which removes distraction, noise, plus work unifying in the highest state in the light of perfection. The hangman, law of reversal, crucifixion of Christ lead to victory and success. Self-sacrifice symbolism, giving yourself up for the good of others. Negative association with hangman's tendency in despair, feel sorry, drown in sorrow of a broken glass. Mature down. Death, law of impermanence. All things in matter and acceptance can feel liberating. May represent freedom plus fresh air, letting forces take over you. Being too afraid of death is stopping you from the chance of living as well. Devil, laughing your fears, sorrows away, celebrating celebrating moments, from dancing to drinking to your success. The dark side feels to feel madness, love celebration. There are certain things I could talk about there, implying certain things that made me feel, oh my god, that was quite scary because I was on a drive. I was doing some driving before, and the new driving cars have this kind of auto sensors if you're coming too close to an obstacle. The best part of that trailer was the fact that that was ringing, and I couldn't see shit what was causing the accident. Now for me, I say the gear is malfunctioning. For them, they're screwed. Someone's coming over to screw them over. Okay, maybe we have more of a fourth wall break than I thought I did. So construct of villains isn't so much. It usually is an emphasis of where I put my focus of annotating inside my inclusion for my scoring system. But for me, it's not going to really take this into consideration because talk too much about the movie, and I would prefer you see for yourself if you like it. But the film aspect comes down towards forces of nature that can they fight against the forces of nature created from these tarot cards. Are they able to fight their future? And that's the best way I can like express the implication of tarot was its ability. Okay, so the other aspects of what we would like to talk about in this film comes in maybe some Easter egg references. If you watch The Black Phone, that was another film that actually I really enjoyed, and it got me a few times taking an implication of watching Easter eggs in relation to what's the word I was looking for. It takes in consideration of Easter eggs of a film that I watched before, and I thought there were certain things that I could make reference in from like a double. And it's I actually enjoyed the Black Widow. I thought they did this marvelously well to take into corporations a person's habits and putting it into a theme that would freak people out. It's fucking scary. I was like going to the trailer. I was going to around people. It was just like, I'm calling my phone, but there is no answer. I'm just messing around with the theme of the phone, right? The black phone, right? So this is another thing that I would like to say. And guess what? Oh shit, card tricks. You need to bring this to the cinema next time you go to the films. I'm telling you, there's going to be an extra element. You'll be like at the end, now who wants to play cards? Sorry. So the other aspect I want to explore in films are generally injuries. Injuries plays in horror films are something that I would like to flesh out. I'm going to get back to this. Generally, a lot of the things that have been revealed from watching it is blunt trauma and also strangulations.
So we're going to talk about more about those parts, which I kind of try to flesh out myself in terms of like some perspective of analysis from a medical perspective. It's also great for me to like also like get in control of my motivation of my content, and also in lines of being able to what's called overlap with studying elements. So I talked about concussions. Concussions can be a cause from like or coma. That has minimal different causes. You found someone unconscious, you would like to do first assess for a DRABC, danger, response, airway, breathing, and circulation. And then after that, you've done your ABCs. You kind of like want to kind of rule out implications or do tests to see what was the cause of it. If we talk about injuries such as like falling down or what so, concussions can lead to bleeding, ruptures, and one common thing that is elaborated if film goes through a sudden rush, or like it's called shaken baby syndrome, or it's due to the implication of like shaking a baby too hard, and it can cause certain veins inside your head to like get injured is the best way I'm looking for. Decelerate or something. I was trying to look for proper terminology there. I just can't remember at this point. Sorry, but like rupture of the bridge veins accumulate blood between the dura and the arachnoid matter. It's kind of funny. It's just the way it's kind of like positioned. These vessels are kind of like a spider web, if you were just to be described, and it can lead on to forms of headaches that can lead to complaints to patients. So again, the MSc also helps assess this, because you want to do, before you even make the assessment of these things, you need to do the imaging. The first step is to stabilize the patient, which is the ABCs, so what to talk about. And you can do these kind of things, also kind of doing a scoring system such as the GCS. A score less than 8 according to the Oxford Handbook implies that the patient needs to be intubated to maintain their airway. There would be other symptoms that you explore, but like for the purpose of like just exacerbating injuries that we could see in these kind of films, this is where I'm trying to keep from. An epidermal hematoma is also possible from a head trauma, and it's a lateral skull fracture right here around there, tearing the middle meningeal arteries, and blood is between the skull and the dura media. Immediate loss of consciousness, and it is emerges in a medical emergency. Generally, also thinking lines of a subarachnoid hemorrhages, which they will complain with an intense headache and pain. The other thing that we talk about of some things to highlight, maybe you can expect in these kind of horror movies, are strangulations. It lies anterior to the neck. An associated injury with the anatomy of things lies in terms of the anterior part of the neck, when at the level of C3, C4, vertebrae between the vertebrae, and between the mandible and the thyroid cartilage, we have something that's connected to adjacent bone. It's not directly connected to the skeleton, the hyoid bone. That's normally damaged in the implication of injuries when we talk about strangulation, if you ever look at the pathology of things. It's shaped like an upsilon, and and yeah, it has attachments, ligament attachments to as bones, to muscle. I mean, so I thought there's ligament, uh, ligaments, and there's the way you kind of like name muscle connective tissue connecting to muscle to bones to bones to bones. Ligaments is the one for bones to bones, I believe, and tendons I think is muscle to bone generally. So we're talking about in lines of ligament injuries here. The tendency of fractures tend to be at the stylo process from the attachments to the temporal bone, and this can also affect the airway process, which means you may need to consider emergency intubation or a thyroidectomy if you see someone that's been strangulated and is long-term damage already in the immediate circumstance that you're able to see them because the airway is blocked and they can't breathe anymore. The other issues that can lay down to a damage injuries from strangulation includes an aspiration pneumonia due to the inability to elevate the higher beneath the tongue, and this would cause swallowing problems, which can lead to some form of infectious medium to go into the airway and then form bacteria growth. So aspiration pneumonia is something of a post complication of a strangulation injury. Okay, so again, in the incidents that you see someone with some form of concussion, a collateral history describing all the describing the episode of what happened when they got themselves hurt is a good direction, and there's a lot of different ways that a coma can be established. So again, it's ABCs: establish an IV access, stabilize the spine, and then check all those parameters to be able to figure out if you can rule out the cause of the coma if you were there to see it or caused it. In this case, it was non-efficient forces. So it was a bit traumatic, post-traumatic injury, so trauma related, and then emergency imaging. How long does it take for someone to be at the onset of the injury to be able to be rushed to the hospital to make a full recovery? I can't be sure to tell you that. That would have been a nice thing to explore for me on a medical perspective using analysis of a horror film. Okay, that's it for this kind of like movie promotion, just trying to go elaboration things. I recommend you go watch it yourself. I had a few moments where it got me to get scared, but the themes were fun to play with, if I had to say anything. And the film does explore different ways to give you a bit of a fright. I'm a bit more mellow on some of these things, but I had a good time watching it, and I hope you do as well. That's it for me in terms of the movie promotion on Lines of the Terror. Bye! Thank you for watching. Another movie review is going to come up in my channel. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Hey everyone, thank you for putting the effort to watch the effort I placed on making something of an entertaining video. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said before, it's not forced, but like I really would appreciate any contribution and support you give to this channel, as it gives me more motivation and more incentive to enjoy more video creating and content creation. If you find that the content drifts away at any point, you can always unsubscribe. It's no big deal. Again, it doesn't mean much. It doesn't take much from you, but it means a whole bunch of me, and it would feel great if you would just reward my efforts of trying to be positive and contributionary. Thank you so much. Bye.